Hey y'all, we're about to dive back into things. In no particular order, mind you. I think we're gonna think about the order of things perhaps later in post. All right, and please do not get distracted, or try not to get distracted. But what the hell my hair is doing? All right, it's freaking me out. All right, we're about to dive back into the matter of the man woman dynamic. Um, Before we do so, I do want to mention that all sort of shit is popping off, all right, and war and escalating war, all right, ever escalating, multiple wars all over the damn place, right? It's very important, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that on this day, on this video. I just wanted to bring that up because it's likely in many ways going to make the world a tougher place. To include maybe especially the dynamic of man and woman, right? It's going to drastically change. Just you watch it back. It's already drastically changed, all right? But it's going to be even more so. Before we dive into matters, let me also just mention that, if you were to put two sides, you know, if it were to be a coin situation and you had two sides of the argument here. Now, the thing is, I kind of think about it, it's probably on a spectrum of things, but if you were to have a two-sided coin, I'll have you know that in what we're about to talk about, both sides of the coin, both sides of the argument, finna call each other gay. It's mad sus. And they're gonna say that a lot. I mean, that's gonna happen, right? But you don't see me doing that. Like, I don't believe in doing that, right? Because some guys are gay. It's like, isn't that all right in America? Like, if they want to do that. But y'all calling each other gay on these two sides of the coin, calling each other gay. Y'all are definitely gonna call each other gay, right? And you mean it in an insulting fashion, because for the very reason that your opponent is not gay. That's the only reason why you're throwing that insult at him. Imagine calling a gay person gay. It's like, all right. So let's get that out of the way. And also, one thing right before we start, I just want to let you know, I don't give a flip. If you believe me, please don't believe me. Some people think like, oh, I'm trying to like do something here. Like I'm trying to conquer somebody's mind over here and turn them radicalized. I know my hair looks radical, but I'm not trying to do all that. I don't need you to believe me. That's what I wanted to let y'all know because it's not important that you believe me. A lot of this information is going to come at you from nowhere. I've been introduced to this information too, and it came at me from nowhere. Pause, but it's very extreme and it's very hard to accept. All right, I'm not asking you to accept it. Here's what if there was a shirt pocket right here. Imagine. Here's what I want you to do. You take what I'm telling you right now, put it in your shirt pocket, and just forget it. Set it and forget it. All right. It does not matter if you believe it. But my guess, my what do they call it when they gamble? My venture is that you're going to eventually see what the hell I'm talking about, and see if it doesn't make a lot more sense later on. I So that's the thing about it. People will be like, "Oh, this narcissist. He's a white cis male devil," and so he wants you to believe him. I really don't care that you believe me. All right. But that being said, I want to share with you this short video that I caught the other day with a Nicholas J. Fuentes, and a lot of people have a lot to say about him. Here's the thing: if you can't, it's like you can't hear people. If I show you someone and you can't hear them, it's because you're full of hate. All right. But the thing is, you could hear a person and just taking what they say. You're not going to believe this person, probably. You're going to have some choice words for what he says. But before I cut on the video, let me just say it real briefly, non-distinctly. It don't matter who. We're not going to say who. We're not going to say what. But the other day, I was being involved in a conversation with this young fella, all right? Don't get any ideas. But we were talking, right? And eventually, see, because he tells me about him and this girl having problems. And, you know, it's interesting that he confided in me because I know this girl, known her for a very long time, right? But so he knows, of course, that I've known this girl for a long time, but he confides in me that they've been having problems or issues or hiccups, if you will. And then he would describe them to me a little bit, and I would hear them, and long story short, I said, you need to drop this lady, all right? Now, and I said, just like I said, I don't care if you believe me. I was telling him, you know, don't, it's like, well, but if I'm going to give you advice, you don't have to take it. You need to drop this lady, right? Too many problems, mad problems, big problems. And you know, I said you need to drop her, right? Later on in the conversation, in relation to what we were talking about, he brings up that he has this friend. This is a young man. So he has a friend who's a young man somewhere. And he said that recently, this is during all their trials and tribulations with him and this lady, whom I know. So in the middle, or I don't know, the tail end, I don't know, somewhere in the process, he gets contacted by his friend whom he knows. His friend suggests, and this is what I'm told, his friend suggested that they need to move in together. His male friend, him and his male friend, right? Platonic friends, and suggests that they need to move in together. And I'm almost quoting him by saying that they need to start meal prepping. They need to start getting on their grind. They need to like go a different way, right? I mess around with this lady, halfway living with this lady, getting in all sort of trials and tribulations with this lady, all right? Even though you say, oh man, you know, and that's the thing. That's how it goes. We're going to talk about it more later. But believe me when I tell you that I know how it goes, all right? You fall in love. And so you try to deal with the trials and the tribulations. It's a bad idea. It's what I'm suggesting to you. But you don't have to believe me. But, okay, so with that being said, I told him about this Nick Fuentes. I told the young man about the Nick Fuentes video clip that I'm about to share with you right now. And you're going to see exactly why I bring it up, because it's very much related to what that guy's friend called him on the phone and had, you know, brought up for consideration, all right? So here's Nicholas J. Fuentes on X.com.
I watched Andrew Tate's emergency broadcast the other day. So fucking relatable. I watched emergency broadcast the other day. Andrew Tate had this clip where he said, he's like, oh, my girl tells me you need to grow up and get married and move in with me. He goes, well, I'm not going to do that because I'm not fucking gay. He goes, and what? Move out of the HQ where we have 3 gyms and a sauna and a pool and video games? You tried it. He's like, absolutely fucking not. I'm like, dude, so fucking true. They could never make me hate you. They could never make me hate you. You have all these like kike-sucking Trump supporters. They go, Andrew Tate is spiritually brown. They could never make me hate you, goat. So true. He goes, my girl is telling me you got to get out of the HQ where we have 3 gyms and a pool and video games, and I'm beating Marcel at Uno. I'm like, so fucking true. That's literally the meta. I want to go to my guy friends. I want to go to my boyfriends. Pause. I want to go to my guy friends, and I want to slap the shit out of them and say, guys, we need an HQ. We need to buy a warehouse. We need to build a sauna and a hot tub and a pool and a gym and an LED video wall. And the girls will live somewhere else. That's the only dignified way to live. Increasingly, I'm convinced that is the only dignified way to live. Don't get married with the government. Get married informally. Get married informally. And have them live off-site. Have them live off-campus with the kids. But the guy's got to live in the HQ. It's the only way. I'm telling you, it's the only way. Because otherwise, it becomes a very grim existence. There will be no Fortnite. There will be no gaming. Otherwise, you just get devoured by your wife. And this is what happens. The married guys will confirm. Some of you guys are saying, that sounds gay. Oh, that's really gay. What, you want to live with a bunch of guys all the time? That's really gay. I know that's coming, but the married guys, they're going to totally agree with me. The married guys that are not fucking coping, that are not coping and seething, they're all going to agree with me. So, HQ, we're building a compound. The wives are not welcome. They can live in a shed in the yard. They could go live somewhere off campus. We need the war room. The fellas need the war room where it's going to be all business. All about the business. This is what we need. Coffee machine, sauna, hot tub, pool, LED video wall, gym, office. That's what we need. And you could put the fucking kids and the wives in the shed in the yard. Okay, we could build a little house for them, and they could decorate it however they want. And maybe once in a while, you could have the tavern snacks. You could have your little bowl of pretzels and little bowl of peanut M&Ms and trail mix. It will not happen in the war room. Anyway, this is called a vision of the future. You're not ready for it. It's maybe ahead of its time. You're still attached to the old way of doing things, but that is my vision of the future. It's just the only way it's going to work. Otherwise, we're going to live in hell. Otherwise, we're going to live in female hell.
All right, so straight away, let me just acknowledge that there's going to be at least 2 types of folks who immediately scoff and, in fact, level the accusation of being gay. They're going to hate what has just been said. They're going to hate what my hair is doing. But they're going to hate what's just been said. They're going to call it sus. And they're going to laugh and scoff, right? So the first one being whamming. And I mean like every woman almost. Damn near all women are going to say, that guy, he's gay, he's a gay fella. And full of hatred. And they're both very gay. That's what they're going to say. Women, they're going to do that. And also, men whom are married, right? And I've been in a lot of houses, right? People trust me up in their house. So I've seen a lot of things. I've seen all sort of different people going up in their house, seeing how they live, seeing how they're living, seeing what they're living like, especially if they're living with a woman, and how that must be like. Sometimes it looks delightful. More often than not, it's not very. It doesn't look. As a spectator, it does not look very delightful. I gotta tell you, all right, most of the time, good majority of the time. All right. So what they're doing is kind of coping. There's gonna be men who are coping, basically. Right. You don't have to believe me, but perhaps your life experience will lead you to a similar place. Right. Very soon, by the way. All right. The thing is, right here, what Nick described, right here, Nicholas J. Fuentes. I gotta say that's a very strong prediction, and I, in fact, pretty much had that same prediction. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people had that prediction, because you see what Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate, by the way, they're super, like the worst criminals in the world, and constantly always getting charged, but not really. I mean, they talk about charge them, don't charge them with nothing. And they're super gay. They're mad gay, right? Because they live together. Mind you, it's like, imagine a man living with his brother in various mansions, carrying on doing whatever they effing feel like doing, right? So women are definitely going to hate it, especially because it makes them feel very uncomfortable, to be honest with you, right? There's a lot that women demand and have been demanding in society for a long time. Just the normal way that you used to maybe remember society was. It's very much evolving, but in fact, it's always been the same thing. Women want a lot of stuff, right? They want a lot of stuff and a lot of attention. The list goes on. Alright, so it was when you say things that almost make it seem like they're going to get less stuff, they freak out, right? I mean, and it's not from a place of hatred. It's from a place of understanding. I know women. I've known women all over the place. I'm related to all sort of women. Right, and I see people's wives and this thing. I've seen them. All right, they're gonna hate it. They're gonna call you gay because it just doesn't help them. What I'm saying doesn't help them. What Nick's saying doesn't really help them. They want everything. They want as much as possible. And guess what? I don't even blame them. Why wouldn't you want as much as possible? And so I'm not even blaming women when I know that they want as much as possible. And, but they're going to say I'm gay. Why? Because me and Nick J. Fuentes have also kind of bought into the idea. I think it's going to be very popular, to be honest with you. Very, very popular into the near future, because you see how things are going. You see the divide between men of various different, all sort of different kinds, a whole spectrum of different men, who they get mad ladies. They get ladies all the time to do whatever they want, break them off, stuff like that, real quick. And then you got guys who either get no ladies or manage to get one lady. All right, they find themselves in a situation. They're like, if I keep this lady around, she'll do all the things that I want her to. I want her to do all these things, and she's not. It's not. It never is what you're hoping that it was going to be by asking this lady to move in. Now you got all sort of problems. They're going to call you gay. Here's the thing. Women across the board are going to say, and then we're going to get out of here, but they're going to say, oh, I would never put up with it. I would never put up with that. He's gay. He's all insecure and stuff, and it's just wrong for so many reasons. I would never put up with that. They will put up with that, dude. I promise you. Enough women are going to put up with it to where it's going to be worthwhile to do this, to live in this way. I mean, the men who have actually been married and been married for a long enough period of time, they might tell you it's actually fun to hang out with the guys, to vibe with the guys. All right, pause. But I'm just saying, to grind, pause, and all that sort of stuff together, putting forces together, all right? instead of squandering, because when you're with a lady, you're going to do a lot of things, to include squander all over the place, right? Because she's right there. She's going to help you do it. So we're going to talk about more later. About the man-woman dynamic, right? And it's going to be wild. I'm not sure, but I think it's going to be the one about how they be killing each other. We're going to say that for next time. But how they be ruthlessly taking each other's lives. We're going to talk about that probably in the next video. I'll holla at y'all. Hey, y'all let me know in your experience. Why is this gay? Why am I so gay? Why is Nick Fuentes gay? And why is Andrew Tate gay? We're all gay. Why don't you tell me why that is? Or how this is a terrible, terrible idea.